Hey, yeah, you. Do me a favor and just sit with me for a minute, all right? Because, there's something you need to hear. Something you've been walking around completely unaware of while everyone else has been freaking out behind your back. You don't realize what you triggered, but they do, and it terrifies them. You've been moving through life thinking you're just reacting, just surviving, just trying to get through the day. Meanwhile, the people who once underestimated you are watching every tiny shift in your energy, like it's some kind of warning sign from the universe. You changed, and you didn't even notice it. But they did, and they felt it in a way that made their stomach twist. Your silence started hitting different. Your presence started feeling heavier. Your aura started carrying something sharper, something colder, something real. People who were once comfortable around you aren't comfortable anymore. People who once talked over you suddenly measure their words. People who once played with you now triple-check their tone. Not because you threatened them, not because you raised your voice, but because that old version of you, the one that tolerated things, swallowed disrespect, laughed off pain, is gone. And they don't know where that version went. You don't realize it, but you triggered their fear response, their guilt, their self-awareness, their panic that you finally see them exactly as they are. It's wild how you're out here thinking, I'm just tired, while they're out here thinking, oh God, they figured me out. You think you're being quiet. They think you're plotting. You think you're healing. They think you're becoming unstoppable. You think you're emotionally done. They think you're about to rewrite your entire life without them in it. People feel the shift before you admit the shift. They felt when you stopped explaining yourself. They felt when you stopped craving validation. They felt when you stopped ignoring red flags. They felt when you stopped absorbing everyone's problems. They felt when you stopped apologizing for existing. And the second those things stopped, your value skyrocketed in the room. Your power became obvious. Your growth became threatening. You didn't change your clothes, your car, your job. You changed your energy. That's the most dangerous kind of evolution. You ever notice how the ones who used to drain you suddenly look uncomfortable? Like they're waiting for you to confront them about something they hoped you'd never realize. They're scared of what you're capable of now that you're not emotionally chained to them. Your detachment, terrifying. Your self-respect, intimidating. Your silence, deafening. Your boundaries, unpredictable. People fear what they cannot control. People fear what they cannot read. People fear what they cannot manipulate. People fear the moment you stop needing them. And that is exactly what you triggered. The moment you stopped chasing. The moment you stopped overthinking. The moment you stopped explaining your worth to people who had no business defining it. You became someone they can't manage anymore. Someone they can't use anymore. Someone they can't gaslight anymore. Someone they can't emotionally handcuff anymore. The version of you they depended on? Gone. And that scares them more than anything. You walk into a room differently now. People feel it. You don't rush your words anymore. You don't laugh at things that aren't funny. You don't shrink yourself to make other people comfortable. You don't jump to say yes when you mean absolutely not. Your confidence is quiet and unnerving. Your clarity is piercing. Your aura is untouchable. You don't even realize what you're radiating while you're walking around thinking you're just trying to keep it together. But they do. They're hyper-aware of every bit of strength you've stepped into recently. They see the fire you didn't realize you lit. They see the boundaries you didn't realize you set. They see the growth you didn't realize was showing. They see the independence you didn't realize you built. They see the transformation you didn't realize was blooming. And every piece of that terrifies them. Because when a person who once doubted themselves suddenly starts believing in themselves, the balance of power shifts. When someone who used to break easily starts walking like nothing can crack them, the game changes. When someone who used to idolize people starts prioritizing themselves, the whole dynamic flips. When someone who used to be emotionally available becomes emotionally selective, access becomes a privilege. You don't realize it because you've been inside the process, but they do because they've been watching from the outside. They're noticing you don't flinch like you used to. You don't second-guess yourself like before. You don't ask permission to be yourself. You don't fear losing people anymore. And that terrifies them, because if you're not scared to lose people, they can't use fear to control you. Your evolution is the one thing they never prepared for. Your clarity is the one thing they hoped you'd never develop. Your strength is the one thing they prayed would stay buried. But here you are, walking around with a different energy, a different heart, a different mind, a different level of self-respect. And you still don't realize the impact. You still don't see what they see. You still don't grasp what you awakened in yourself. But they do, and it terrifies them. And it's kind of wild how you're walking around thinking nothing major shifted, while people around you are practically holding their breath every time you enter the room. They don't even know how to stand next to you anymore. They're studying your posture, the way you answer, the way you look at things, the way you don't react to things you once exploded over. They're noticing you don't chase clarity from people who only ever gave you confusion. You're giving this energy like, if you wanted to lose me, you should have said that. And it's throwing them off in ways you're not picking up on. It's that calm you've got now. That slow, steady, unbothered calm that I've seen too much to be shaken by this calm. People don't know how to interpret it. They don't know if you're done with them. They don't know if you're testing them. They don't know if you know something they don't. And the truth is, you kind of do. You see through people faster. The masks don't work on you anymore. The lies don't land the same. The manipulation doesn't even stick. And, that's what scares them. Not that you changed, but that you're no longer blind to the things you used to ignore. You ever notice how someone gets extra nice when they think you might expose them? Extra patient, extra careful? That's not growth. That's fear disguised as maturity. They're scared of losing the version of you they used to feed off. They're scared of losing the access they never earned. They're scared of losing the loyalty you used to give out, like charity. You stopped being predictable. You stopped being available on demand. You stopped being the emotional crutch. You stopped being the person they could drain and still expect you to smile about it. And the second you stopped, they started panicking. They don't say it out loud, but you can feel the shift. That awkwardness when they talk to you now, that hesitation before they joke, that double take when you don't respond the way you used to, that stiffness in their voice when they realize they can't guilt trip you anymore, that sudden silence when you don't react to their passive-aggressive nonsense. They're terrified because nothing about you is giving easy target anymore. Nothing about you is giving emotionally open buffet. Nothing about you is giving, please walk all over me. You're moving like someone who finally understands their own value. And when you understand your value, you stop entertaining discount energy. and they feel that loss. They feel that shift. They feel that distance. They feel that version of you slipping out of their hands. You don't realize what you triggered when you chose yourself for once. But they do. And it terrifies them because it means they no longer get to decide how your story unfolds. Your glow is different now. Not loud, not flashy, but steady, grounded, effortless. That kind of glow can't be faked. It comes from surviving storms you never spoke about, from rebuilding yourself piece by piece, from walking through fire alone and coming out with your own light. People sense that. People fear that. People react to that even if they pretend they don't. Your strength isn't loud, but it's unmistakable. Your confidence isn't aggressive, but it's unshakable. Your silence isn't passive, but intentional. And intentional silence is one of the most intimidating things a person can encounter, because it forces them to confront themselves in the space where your old explanations used to be. That's the part they can't handle. Not your power, but the fact that you're no longer hiding it to make others comfortable. Not your strength, but the fact that you're no longer diluting it. Not your clarity, but the fact that you finally trust it. You don't realize how far you've come, how much you've changed, how deeply you've evolved, but they do. And it terrifies them. And the thing that really gets them, the part that hits them in the chest every time they think about you, is how you're not even trying to prove anything anymore. You're not performing. You're not competing. You're not chasing the approval you once thought you needed to survive. You're just existing in your truth. And that truth is heavier than any threat you could ever say out loud. They feel it in the way you walk now. That slow, steady, grounded walk that doesn't apologize for taking up space. They feel it in how your eyes don't dart around nervously like they used to. You look straight at things now. You see through people like glass. They feel it in your posture. Shoulders relaxed, jaw unclenched, that quiet confidence leaking out of you like a warning sign. They don't know what version of you they're dealing with anymore. That uncertainty alone is enough to make them rethink every interaction. It's like you became this mirror they can't avoid, a mirror that reflects back all the ways they mishandled you, underestimated you, misunderstood you. And the crazy part is, you're not intentionally holding that mirror up. It's just who you are now. Growth has a way of turning into a spotlight without you even meaning to shine it. People who once dismissed you are studying you now. People who once doubted you are cautious around you. People who once talked over you suddenly feel the need to choose their words carefully. They're sensing that you've outgrown the emotional cages they built for you. They're sensing that your mind is sharper. They're sensing that your patience isn't unlimited anymore. They're sensing that your heart isn't naive anymore. You ever see how someone tries to joke with you the old way, and the joke just dies in their throat because your reaction doesn't match their expectation? That silence you give them, that stillness, that unreadable expression. Yeah, that's the new you, reminding them the old door has closed and they don't have a key to the new one. And they hate how calm you are. Your calm is dangerous. Your calm is loud. Your calm is the kind of calm people get when they know they won't be manipulated again. It's not the loud transformations that scare people. It's the quiet ones, the internal ones, the ones you don't post online, the ones you don't announce, the ones that happen behind closed doors while you're rebuilding yourself silently. You're walking around with a different kind of self-awareness now. a different kind of wisdom, a different kind of emotional discipline. And emotional discipline? That's rare. That's powerful. That's threatening to people who counted on your emotional impulsiveness to keep you predictable. They don't know if you're distant or just finally at peace. They don't know if you're guarded or just protecting your energy. They don't know if you're done with them or just done explaining yourself. And that question mark hanging over their head, that's what terrifies them. Because once someone realizes their worth, you can't guilt them back into a place they outgrew. Once someone sees the truth, you can't convince them to unsee it. Once someone heals, you can't break them the same way again. And the version of you that's here now, that version carries a kind of power you don't fully understand yet, but they feel it every time you say less. Every time you stay calm, every time you choose yourself, every time you refuse to be dragged into old chaos. You're not reacting emotionally anymore. You're responding logically. You're observing instead of absorbing. You're choosing solitude over fake connections. You're moving like someone who knows exactly what they bring to the table. And people know what that means, even before you do. They know what you're becoming, even before you name it. They know what you triggered, even before you accept it. You don't realize the force you're stepping into, but they do. And it terrifies them. And what's really messing with them is how you've been carrying yourself lately. This quiet, almost eerie confidence that wasn't there before. You're not bragging, you're not flexing, you're not trying to prove anything. You're just moving with this energy like you finally realized you don't have to fight for space anymore. You are the space now. And, people feel that. People react to that. People panic because of that. They used to know exactly which buttons to push with you. They had the emotional cheat codes. They knew what would trigger you, what would guilt you, what would shut you down. But those buttons don't work anymore. The wiring's different. You upgraded yourself without announcing the update. And they can't stand that loss of control. It's like they're trying to have the same old conversations with you. But the script changed, and you didn't tell anyone. You're giving short answers now. You're not oversharing. You're not filling awkward silences. You're not feeding their egos with unnecessary reassurance. You're not explaining your boundaries. You're just enforcing them. Your detachment isn't cold. It's powerful. Your distance isn't selfish. It's protective. Your silence isn't empty. It's intentional. And the intentional version of you. Yeah. That's the version they never expected to meet. You ever notice how people stare at you a little longer these days, like they're searching for the old version of you in your eyes? They're scanning, trying to see if you still have the same fears, the same insecurities, the same soft spots they used to exploit. But your eyes don't give that away anymore. There's a steadiness there, a maturity, a knowing. It's unsettling to them because they relied on your vulnerability to stay comfortable. It's almost funny watching them try to adjust. They're more cautious now, more polite, more careful with their wording. Even their jokes feel toned down, like they're testing the water before diving back into their old behavior. But they can't dive back in because the water's not the same. You're not the same. You stopped giving them the emotional version of you they were addicted to. You stopped feeding them validation. You stopped accepting crumbs. You stopped bending your boundaries every time someone looked disappointed. And the moment you stopped, their fear started. They don't know what you think of them anymore. They don't know if you're done or just observing. They don't know if you've forgiven them or if you're just too evolved to waste energy being angry. They don't know how much you figured out. They don't know what conversations you replayed and finally understood. They don't know what truths you connected in silence, and uncertainty is the one thing that terrifies people who used to depend on your predictability. Your energy used to be soft enough for people to walk all over, but now it's firm enough to make them walk around carefully. That shift shakes people. It forces them to look at their behavior without the cushion of your old acceptance. You became someone they can't manipulate, can't guilt, can't distract, can't emotionally corner. They can't read you. They can't predict you. They can't decide your mood. They can't pull you into negativity. You're steady in a way that exposes their chaos. You're grounded in a way that exposes their insecurities. You're aware in a way that exposes their patterns. And every time you show this new level of control, even in the smallest ways, they feel it like a shock to the system. Even your, yeah, hits different now. Even your quiet hits different. Even your presence hits different. You don't realize the psychological pressure you exert just by existing in this upgraded version of yourself, but they do. And it terrifies them. And the part that keeps throwing them off is how unpredictable your peace has become. You're calm in moments where the old you would have spiraled. You're collected in situations where you used to break down. You're steady in ways that don't even make sense to the people who watched you struggle before. It's like you rebuilt yourself in a way they never imagined you could. And, they're stuck trying to figure out when that happened. They're confused because you used to be emotionally accessible, easy to tap into, easy to provoke, easy to pull into their chaos. But this new version of you doesn't open the door just because someone knocks. You're choosing who gets access instead of letting everyone walk in. And that shift? That's the kind of shift that scares people who depended on your openness to control the relationship. You ever watch someone get nervous just because you're quiet? Like they can't handle the silence coming from you anymore. That's because your silence isn't passive now. It's powerful. It's like they're wondering what you know, what you noticed, what you picked up on in those moments you stopped responding emotionally. Your quiet feels like intelligence. Your distance feels like insight. Your stillness feels like strategy, and people fear strategy more than anger. The old you would have reacted instantly, tried to defend yourself, tried to explain, tried to justify, but you don't explain anything anymore. You don't fight to be understood. You don't chase closure from people who wouldn't even give you honesty. And that emotional maturity hits them harder than any argument ever could. It's the way you don't feed their ego anymore, the way you don't rise to their bait, the way you don't get dragged into their chaos, the way you don't let pressure push you into mistakes. You're grounded now, and grounded people are dangerous to those who thrive off instability. They're scared because they can't tell what you're thinking. You don't give them easy access to your emotions. You don't show your hand. You don't over-explain your boundaries. You don't drop your guard out of loneliness anymore. And losing that emotional leverage, that's what terrifies them the most. You ever notice how they're suddenly over-explaining themselves to you? Or being weirdly polite? Or giving you compliments out of nowhere? That's not appreciation. That's panic. Panic that they misplayed their hand with someone who isn't as breakable as they assumed. Panic that you see them clearly now. Hello, my beautifully twisted little anomalies. You ever notice how the world always tries to outsmart you with recycled blueprints? Like you're some kind of basic equation they can solve with a cheat sheet from a forgotten decade. They thought they could end you. With a strategy they copied off a dead YouTube channel from 2012. Like, are you serious? These people, they really believed they could bring you down with gaslight, gatekeep, guilt, trip. Version 1.0, as if you hadn't already survived every manipulative trick in the book and made annotations in the margins. They studied you like you're simple, but you're not a test. You're the whole damn paradox. They thought you'd fold under pressure, but you were forged in it. You heard the whispers, the fake support, the polite sabotage, the "I'm just worried about you" tone wrapped around a dagger dipped in jealousy. You saw the meetings, the subtweets, the forced smiles, their little alliance of boredom and envy. You didn't say a word, because why scream when you can detonate? They don't realize you've been attacked before. You've died in the eyes of others many times, and each time you came back with a sharper grin and cleaner aim. They buried you alive in rumors and silence, but you learned to breathe underwater. So when they came at you with that ancient, dusty plot your downfall manual, you just watched, let them read it aloud like it was scripture. He'll get overwhelmed. She'll self-destruct. They won't recover this time. How adorably outdated. They think you're running on approval. But you've been fueled by rejection, disrespect, and rage-fueled clarity since the beginning. They tried to isolate you and accidentally made you invincible. They tried to embarrass you and taught you how to glow in humiliation. They tried to copy you and ended up being a glitchy bootleg of your worst day. You see, they were so focused on undermining your image, they forgot you don't even operate on the same frequency anymore. You stopped explaining, you stopped apologizing, you stopped begging to be understood. Now, you're too dangerous, too self-aware, too focused, and that scares them, because they thought if they broke your name, you'd break too. But your name is just a label. You are the experience. You are the moment, the meltdown, the miracle. And you don't just survive sabotage, you digest it and turn it into your next masterpiece. Let them underestimate you. Let them rely on outdated attacks. Let them build sandcastles of your destruction while you learn to command tidal waves. Because every time they aim for your downfall, they forget the truth. You don't fall anymore. You transform. You know what the real joke is? It's not that they tried to destroy you. It's how they did it. With outdated tools. With predictable tactics. With a 2012 strategy for a 2030 creature. Like baby, you're not just ahead of your time. You're the glitch in their simulation. You're the update they can't download. You're the error message they can't debug. And when they watched you rise from every collapse, not just alive, but more dangerous, they didn't take notes. They doubled down on the same outdated plan, like that would somehow work the 5th time. They thought they'd whisper your failures in private, but now the whole room hears your name, and they can't tell if it's fame or fear. You became louder in silence. You became stronger in stillness. You became scarier without even trying. And they hate that, because your very existence is a counterattack. Your survival is an insult to their imagination. Your success, a slap in the face of every prediction they placed behind closed doors. Oh, they wanted to see you react, didn't they? Cry, beg, explode. But you gave them the worst possible outcome for their ego. You stayed calm. You let them feel the weight of your silence. Let them wonder what you know. Let them spiral in their own paranoia. Because the truth is, you could destroy them. You could expose every receipt. You could dismantle their reputations brick by brick. You could scorch their little reputations with a single whisper of truth. But you won't. Not yet. Because you're past revenge now. You're not here to win petty games. You're here to change the whole damn system they tried to weaponize against you. You're not the player anymore. You're the glitch, the exploit, the final boss they didn't code for. You turned every scar into strategy, every betrayal into a business plan, every meltdown into a damn documentary. And now, they're exhausted, not because you attacked them, but because you never needed to. You moved in silence and still made more noise than their entire performance. They plotted your downfall using a 2012 blueprint. But you were reborn using cosmic blueprints no one's ever seen. You were stitched together in shadows and baptized in your own rage. You're not the same anymore. You're smarter, colder, unbothered, and borderline mythological. And when they ask, how did you survive? You'll smile. Not because you owe them an answer, but because you were never supposed to. You want to know what the scariest thing in the world is? It's not a villain. It's not a monster. It's not some masked freak on the edge of a rooftop. No, it's someone who was supposed to break, but didn't. Someone who sat in the fire long enough to become flame-proof. Someone who learned how to smile in hell without asking for water. Someone who took every dirty trick, every sneaky betrayal, every whisper campaign, and built a fucking throne from the rubble. That's you now, and they know it. They're not even trying to win anymore. They're trying to undo the reality of your survival, because your existence violates their belief system. You weren't supposed to outlive their lies. You weren't supposed to glow in the ashes. You weren't supposed to learn the game and then redesign it. But you did. And what's worse for them, you did it without theatrics, without begging, without even pointing fingers. You let the story tell itself. See, when amateurs try to destroy you, they think it's about noise, about rumors, about turning people against you. But destruction isn't loud. Destruction is quiet, surgical, psychological. You didn't shout, you watched. And while they were busy hosting pity parties and plotting exposés that flopped harder than their self-worth, you were building in silence, training in darkness, sharpening the mind they tried to dull. And now look at you. You're not just back, you're inevitable. You're showing up in places they swore you'd never reach. Your voice echoes in rooms they thought were closed to you. Your name, the one they tried to erase, now rings louder than theirs ever did. You're becoming a force, a mythology, a cautionary tale for anyone stupid enough to play with quiet fire. But let me tell you the most delicious part of this all. They still don't understand what they created. They think you're just resilient. No, you're transformed. They tried to assassinate your spirit, and all they did was give it teeth. They tried to shrink your light, and you turned it into a weapon. They tried to exile you, and now you're the entire damn kingdom. They keep praying for your downfall, not realizing you are the storm. The downfall doesn't happen to you anymore. It follows you, and it devours everything that ever dared to bet against you. You became the reckoning they whispered about, but never believed would walk into the room with receipts, silence, and a surgical grin. And now they get to live with it. With the sound of your name in rooms they sit in, with the shadow of your work haunting everything they try to build, with the reality that you don't even think about them anymore. Because that's what stings the most, isn't it? You moved on while they stayed stuck, trying to undo a future you already upgraded, and all they've got left is that same dusty old plan, that same tired little playbook, that same sad 2012 tutorial. While you became the glitch they can't delete, the virus they accidentally coded into existence, the boss level that keeps respawning after every reset. You didn't just survive their attack, you evolved beyond it. They studied the old you, the nervous you, the people-pleasing you, the fragmented, fogged-out version of you that hadn't yet figured out that you were never meant to fit in. You were built to flip the table. But the punchline is, they did all that planning, all that scheming, all that whispering in shadows, for nothing. Because by the time they pulled the trigger on their little plan, you weren't even the same target anymore. You had already evolved into your next form. You weren't just healed, you were weaponized. Every betrayal became your blueprint. Every disappointment, a data point. Every humiliation, fertilizer. So when they came for you with that decade-old strategy, you didn't even flinch. You didn't clap back. You didn't clear the air. You just smiled. Because it was already over for them, and they didn't know it yet. See, there's a special kind of silence that happens right before people realize they just lit a fire they can't put out. That's where you live now. You're not human noise anymore. You're atmospheric pressure. You're the glitch in the pattern. You're the mirror people fear to look in too long, because it shows them what they'll never become. And that's what eats at them, isn't it? It's not that you fought back. It's that you didn't have to, because you're no longer in the arena. You're watching from above, holding the script, tearing out pages, rewriting the narrative mid-scene, while the cast still thinks they're running the show. They think they're fighting you, but they're fighting their last version of you, and they're losing to a ghost, the real you, already gone, already morphed into something colder, calmer, smarter, dangerous, not dangerous like a weapon. No, that's too simple. You're dangerous like silence in a room full of liars, like a grin from someone who knows everything and says nothing, like a whisper that destroys more than a scream ever could. And what's left for them now? Confusion, shame, paranoia, the creeping fear that maybe they never knew you at all, because that's the cruelest twist in this whole little story. They spent all that time plotting your destruction, and in the process, they revealed their own. They exposed their envy. They exposed their desperation. They exposed how little they've grown while you became limitless. And now they sit there, clutching that outdated plan like a lifeline. Meanwhile, you're designing blueprints for entire universes from your scars. You are not the mistake. You are not the failure. You are not the version of yourself they tried to trap you in. You are proof that survival is only the beginning. Because you didn't just rise. You returned with your eyes wide open, your soul recalibrated, and your mind nuclear. You are not a comeback. You are a cataclysm dressed in peace, wrapped in purpose, with a grin that says, "Try it again, I dare you." You want to know what truly haunts them? It's not that they failed to destroy you. It's that they failed with everything, every rumor, every fake alliance, every subtle dig in public wrapped in sarcasm and sugar. All of it. Wasted. And the worst part? You never even flinched. You didn't argue. You didn't post a rebuttal. You didn't expose them with screenshots or voice notes. No. You let them rot in the silence they created. Because you know something they don't. Destruction isn't loud. It doesn't need to be. Real destruction happens in the mind. It happens when someone realizes they brought a wooden dagger to a war being fought in dimensions they can't perceive. It happens when their entire ego collapses under the weight of watching the one they tried to bury walk by untouched. That's you now. You became the quiet consequence of everything they pretended wouldn't come back to them. You became the karma with a smirk, the storm that whispers instead of screams. And what did they use against you? Words, tactics, emotional manipulation from a decade ago. They thought if they could just control how people saw you, they'd control what you became. But perception is fragile, and you're not. You are forged, calloused, tempered by fire they wouldn't survive 5 minutes in. They got by on shortcuts, charm, and illusion. You got here through pain, exile, isolation, and you made a cathedral out of it. Let that sink in. They used envy as a blueprint. You used pain as architecture. They crafted insults like spells. You built an empire with your name in every brick they tried to throw. And now they spiral. Not because you attacked, not because you embarrassed them, but because you don't even care. And that's what eats them alive. They want your energy, your attention, even your anger. But they only get your absence, your elevation, your unreachable evolution. They can't copy it. They can't study it. They can't recreate it. Because you didn't just survive. You transcended. You saw their little game, smiled, and built an entirely new dimension where their rules don't apply. They're still busy whispering about you in shadows, and you're already speaking fluently in thunder. You are a reminder they can't mute. You are the face of what happens when the villain was never the villain, just the only one who learned how to thrive without applause. Let them keep rehearsing revenge for a war they already lost. Let them spiral in their outdated game. Because you are not a player anymore. You are the system. And they just triggered a command they were never programmed to survive. You really want to know why they hate you? It's not because you made it. It's not even because you healed. It's because you never needed their permission to begin with. You slipped through the cracks of every trap they set. Not because you were lucky, but because you were never meant to be caught. You don't operate like them. You don't need their applause. You don't respond to their panic. And now, that's all they are. Panic. They look at you, and it reminds them of everything they pretended to be, everything they faked online, everything they performed for attention, for status, for validation. You became everything they lied about. They posted motivational quotes. You became the quote. They curated confidence. You built yours out of ruins. They sought approval. You sought clarity. And now that you've found it, you are untouchable. But let's talk about their strategy, shall we? The little tutorial from 2012. Gaslight, isolate, discredit, break their confidence, use shame, twist the narrative. How quaint. What they don't realize is that little handbook was written for people still seeking to be loved by the crowd. You're not that person anymore. You're not chasing affection. You're not trying to explain your story. You've burned the stage, and now you're performing for an audience inside yourself. And from where you're standing, their attacks are nothing but static, old tricks, outdated code, glitches in a system you've long since outgrown. They bet everything on you staying the same, but you've been evolving in silence for years. While they posted filters, you studied your demons. While they faked confidence, you broke down your trauma layer by layer and rebuilt yourself into a psychological fortress. You've turned pain into precision, isolation into insight, And now you see everything. You see the desperation behind their envy. You see the cracks behind their fake smiles. You see the performance behind their support. You see it all, and the worst part for them, you say nothing. You don't react. You just watch as their own guilt devours them from the inside. You became the mirror they can't look into anymore. The evidence, the prophecy, the consequence. You don't even hate them. You've outgrown hate. You've entered a state beyond emotion, beyond validation, beyond ego. You are now composed of vision, of clarity, of untouchable direction, and they can't follow you here, because to reach this level, they'd have to lose everything fake, and they're still addicted to pretending. So let them plot. Let them use their little tutorials, their outdated manipulation, their tired tactics. It won't work, because you've already hacked the system. You've already broken the rules, and now you're rewriting the script, line by line, without mercy. And so, here we are, at the end of the show, or maybe the beginning of something much, much worse. Because you didn't just survive. You didn't just outplay their outdated tactics. You became something so far outside the realm of their comprehension that your presence now feels like a threat to their entire nervous system. You didn't break the rules. You proved that the rules were always a lie, written by cowards to keep brilliance on a leash. They used to talk about humbling you, remember? About teaching you a lesson, about bringing you back down to earth. But now, they don't even speak your name, not because they forgot, but because it burns on the way out. They called you too much, too emotional, too intense. They said you were unstable, dramatic, unhinged, and you were. You were all of those things. Because that's what happens when a person is being ripped apart by the weight of their own potential, while being strangled by a world that would rather kill them slowly than see them bloom fully. You are what happens. When someone survives every mental breakdown, every sabotage, every betrayal, and comes back not soft, but strategic. They wanted you to shrink. Instead, you expanded into something godlike, terrifying, sacred, untouchable. They laughed at your ambition. Now they study your silence like scripture. They mocked your dreams. Now they watch you build them brick by brutal brick, and wonder why none of theirs came true. Because you paid the cost. You endured the exile. You embraced the isolation. And in that space, you met yourself. Not the version they painted, not the one they pitied, not the watered-down version they could control. No, you met the version of you that is ancient, divine, and dangerous. You realized the truth, that your enemies were never really trying to destroy the current you. No, they were trying to delay the arrival of the God you were becoming. Because deep down, even they could feel it, that you weren't just getting stronger, you were ascending. And now look at them, frail, shaken, trying to meme their way out of karma, still holding on to a tutorial that never worked on someone like you to begin with. See, they don't understand something. You were never playing a social game. You were unleashing a prophecy. You didn't want validation. You wanted freedom. You wanted truth. Even if it meant losing everything. Even if it meant losing everyone.